Alright, we're visible now. Okay. Alright, so I want to welcome you to another live stream. Wow. How are you guys doing? Yeah. So I want to appreciate all the newbies that have put in effort to practice all the exercises and all. Today we'll be moving very fast because we are behind schedule. Alright. So we'll be talking about JavaScript today. Yeah, so it's more like an introductory course for people wants to learn JavaScript. We might not be touching all the concepts of JavaScript, but at least something to get you started and get your hands dirty. um, this is the outline, introduction, requirements, application, case study, and some added index in between. So what exactly is JavaScript? JavaScript, abbreviated as JS, is a programming language that conforms to the EnactScript specification. So EnactScript specification is the baseline for JavaScript. It's open source and da da da. Alright, so these are the requirements. You need a web browser, VS Code if available, and Node.js, but that is optional by the way, and a decent laptop, so don't skip that. Alright, so these are some of the applications that you can build with JavaScript. These are obviously frameworks in JavaScript, like things that are built out of JavaScript, which you can use JavaScript to make. So mobile apps, there's a framework known as React Native, desktop Electron, web applications for server side, Express.js, and I stress TensorFlow for Python. We also have an extension available for JavaScript, and it's also TensorFlow.js. These are the frameworks. I'm just gonna show you pictures just in case you see something like this somewhere. So this is React. It's based off Facebook. Those are the founders of React, and we have React Native. So React Native is a project based off of React itself. So that's what React Native is. It used to be mobile apps, cross-platform apps for both iOS and Android. So basically it converts the code, it converts the code to platform specific, which could be Kotlin, Java in this case, and for iOS that would be Swift, I guess. For Express.js, you use that to build web applications. We have Electron for desktop application, AngularJS, which is based off of Google. It's a JavaScript framework for building front-end application, and also Vue. It's open source as well, and it's available for you to build front-end applications. So these are some of the case study things that has been built with JavaScript, precisely frameworks. Basically all browsers now in the world makes use of JavaScript. So definitely JavaScript is like on every browser. So every web application, precisely web pages, run with the help of JavaScript. So back then we had this enable JavaScript thing, but now it's here to stay. We could build a lot of stuff with it. Alright, moving on. Okay. Alright, moving on. We have keywords. These are keywords that cannot be used. I have a copy of this in the notes. If it's not there, please let me know so I could add it up. So these are keywords you should not use for data type, variables precisely. Data type. These are some of the data type. Here is an example of what an integer looks like. Here is an example of what an float value looks like. This is an example of a string or alphabet and alphanumeric for boolean true or false. So to get something outputted on the screen, you have to use console.log. This is web browser dependent. Try that out. So when you get your browser open, press F12 and you have this beautiful console. So not inspection or spectre. That's the, let's adjust that up a little. You can see. Come on, grow. Alright. So I'll wait for that to come back. Okay. Alright, so I guess that's a little bigger. So to like show something on your console, since web browser, you know, is JavaScript enabled now, you need to use the console inline to get that right. So the function I stressed here is method actually, console.log. So this is an object, this is a method, and you need to put your arguments or parameters inside the parentheses for you to get what you want. So I could just do log, console.tab.log, and I could just say wow. Okay, no saving, and press that out, and it's out to the console. If you have Node.js installed like I do, so I'm just going to drag my and place it here. Alright, while wait for things not to fall apart, just tap this to the side, so that later on I'll get a node working. So this is what so I just have to clear this. If you have node installed in your command line, you just type node and press enter. So you have what's it called, a runtime environment. So you could execute Java code instead of your browser. So just type console. So you see that that's an object telling you have the log and some other stuff inside. So just come tap that and put hello world as well, and the magic also happens. Yay. So you see that hello world right there. Alright, so if I push fast forward, actually there are other arguments, other method rather, you could use. Alright, so my PC is trying to keep up. Alright, so there are other arguments that you can use. Why do you keep saying arguments? Okay, parameters. Yeah, so there are other parameters that you can use. One, so you can also say and close it. So that's actually a string. That doesn't really make sense in the runtime environment, but when you come to the browser you see the difference clearly. So I just do up that and make use of other methods in the make use of other method in the console object. There's one actually. So you see we have is relative to the name itself. We have another known as error. Press enter. See, it's really ready and speaks for itself. Alright, moving on. Alright, so stretch that out. Prompt. So if you want to get an input from the user, you can use the prompt function. It's actually a function. I feel it's an API for browsers because the prompt does not work in the runtime environment node. So I could just say, if I don't put any argument of some sort and just run it, I get some prompt from the browser. And type in whatever I want, and that will return as a string. But for UX better experience, I want to have something displayed to the user so that the appropriate data could be inserted inside. So I could say enter your name, and press that. So you see that enter your name comes up. So if I click cancel, and see there's no prompt. So there is it. So let's go back to the presentation so I could point out some other stuff that you need to understand. Alright, so we have variables. Variables are like storage, you know, in data type convention. So basically I always like to use the shop and the item and the cat convention. So we have several types of data types in JavaScript, but to be able to use those data type you need to put them somewhere, and that is where the concept of data type comes into play. Alright, so now for you to get a data type in Python, you need to make use of the define keyword. You need to make use of a defined variable. So there are several types. I didn't know, I didn't put that in my notes. So there are various data types. We have the const, we have the let, we have the var. Okay, so they all have their specific functions. They all have their specific functions. Wow. They all have the specific function. So for let, what you're trying to say is that this variable belongs to, you know, as more of a data type that can be overridden. You know, you can re-initialize, reassign precisely. So that is when you use let, but is scope dependent. When I say scope dependent, I mean there are like various levels where you can reuse, reuse them. So let me just explain that point further. Like, let's say your house, everyone gets to be in the living room, but not everyone gets to be in the bedroom, or as the case may be. So what we're trying to say is this, can be like a bedroom related property. So it's mostly used when you want to declare variables that you don't want to share outside. But due to scope block, I think scope block, yeah, scope block. The let was introduced to stop that. Scope variables, the initialization or declaring of any sort. So you can actually use the let keyword and get away with variables and scope paradigm. So basically, when you just use let, you are creating a unique variable. That is a very tough concept to digest, but that is the best I can give it for this beginner series. So when you use the define, you're just trying to tell the interpreter that this guy can be reassigned anytime. Alright, so you use the assignment and put in whatever you want as the case may be. So we're just gonna practicalize that real quick. So let's say constant, and I put in age as a constant. Oh no, I can't put in age as a pi. Okay, constant as a pi is equals to 3.142. Ha, I know math. Alright, so if I try to reassign another value, like, okay, let's say 3.142 and 3, it tells me that assignment to constant variable. So that's a type error. So that's it. But for data types like var, I could just come py. I don't know if that will work. Let's not have it try. Okay, same thing, because that name is already taken. But in the concept of var, as the case may be, you could like use I and equal that to 1, and you could also say, wow, oh sorry, I made a mistake, I is equals to 2, so you still have that. Alright, you see, you can say I, and you have that value. See I is equals to 1, and have that value. See, no, sorry, I is actually equals to 3, and you have that. So for let, they're pretty much the same, and let's say I, you can redefine it. So let's choose another variable. Ij is equals to 1, and oh yes, let's check j is equals to 1. You can still reassign that j to 2, and but for constant you can't do that. So moving on. Alright, so we have numbers, basically numbers, data type. I should have put it defined just for clarity. We have constant, like house address may not change, so those are things that could be a constant. There are various types of operators. I should have corrected this, I just need to skip those operators, so you could check the notes and get the gist in between. Alright, so let's move to our examples. So I'm going to use my browser here to do all of the demonstration. Well, I guess some of them though. So let's try arithmetic operation. Alright, so from the notes I give you, arithmetic operation, I simply just plus, minus, forward slash, which is division, and multiplication. Alright, so that's it. So let's see what we could do now. We could actually do 1 plus 1. Oh, we have a sum there. So let's close the runtime environment so we could have more headroom on our program. Yep. Alright, so you see that we have to, if we were to do that using, okay, so let me just sorry, just gonna open VS Code. Yeah. So while we wait for VS Code to come up, I'll just show more examples here. Alright, so create the application using JavaScript. You can pretty much make use of Node.js to run codes on your computer. Now with basic HTML, JavaScript, and CSS skills, you can build web application. Unlike before, where you have to, learn things like C++, and maybe just one application. Now everything has changed, and with the help of JavaScript, you can just build web applications as easy as possible. I should have had this file open. Okay, so I'm just going to Python, and I should have opened this file. This new folder, yes. Alright, so I'm just gonna open my I'll go to JavaScript, and document. No, I need to go to exercise. Yes. Alright. Alright. It's opening up. Alright, so like I was trying to stress out in the document, Python Python is a server-side programming language. It's not, you know, super powerful, but with the help of JavaScript, you can bring out all of its power. Things like getting something from the browser without refreshing. Django can really do that for you, but with the help of JavaScript, which is a client-side programming language, you can pretty much get everything done. So I'm just gonna wipe everything out and start all over again. Okay, so this is the structure. I'm just gonna do that again. So you do shift 1, you need HTML5 to open. So I'm not gonna explain all the basic rudiments of HTML, but I'm just gonna tell you a little about HTML coding style. So basically everything is almost based on tags. So if I press A, I'm gonna get an A tag. So I'm just gonna run this on live server. So if you don't have live server, it's an extension for VS Code. So I just come on, oh shit. Alright, so just go here and press and type live server rather. So type live server and you get you type live server and they'll point you to where you could download it stuff like so live server. So a lot could pop up, but this one is a reloaded one. So check it out. We have almost 60 million downloads with a 5-ish star rating. It's really cool. It's really awesome. So rather than having to copy your HTML. So if live server is not your dig, you could just create have your HTML file. Right click and click copy path, and just need to go to my browser. Alright, copy path and paste it. It will still take you to that same page. I want live server because it auto refreshes. So I'll tie this to the side and bring this over here. Okay. Right. Our system is struggling to meet up live stream. Alright, so I'm just gonna close that up. Close that. Let's close that too. Alright. So if I want to put something, the A tag virtually it helps you directs you to pages on your website or a page, as the case may be. So if I just put in A, the address to where I want to go will have to be inside here. Takes me there. So if I just go google.com, save that, it doesn't show up because there's no element inside of the tag and I need to do something. So I could just say Google, save that, my server takes me live, and boom, I have an error. I think there's something known as target, and I do not know how to use that. So target, okay, still takes you inside the page. So basically it links you to HTML file inside the page. Yeah, so I guess if you want to like go to a new tab, there's a syntax, I think syntax, I don't know, so you could just Google that out yourself. Alright, so that is it for the A tag. So we'll take you to somewhere within your page. So I'm just going to show you a quick example here so that you could make sense of it. Alright, so it could be like home. Let's see, something like for an e-commerce site, shop, and showroom, and we have the last one known as about save, and see them here. Although if you click them, you'll not be directed to anywhere, but the concept is what it is. Moving on, I want to just go straight to the, there are several ways you could put JavaScript file inside a web page, but I'm just going to show you for the external side of things. So you need to have a source, okay? So it needs to be where your files are. So in this case, I hold Control and space, and I have a lot of files to work with. Save. Okay. So I'm going to be working with example 1 real quick. So it's hello world example. I've covered that, so there will be no need to repeat that anymore. So if I should refresh my browser, I will see that I love programming shown up there. It's because I am loading this JavaScript file externally. Alright. So if you replace this with whatever you want, something like please subscribe or something. Wow. Okay, save that with live server. Everything refreshes on its own once you save. So it saves you the hassle of going to always save and go here to refresh that. So you have that. It's also that you could play with that and make use of the one another. So now for prompting, this is how it works. You can just receive input. So I just need to come here and erase this and replace it with the file name example2. Save that, and you have a prompt. Alright, so you could put in an H, so you have that printed to the console. Just gonna have to close this and tap this one. Alright, so you have that. You could try to sum of values, and I get like 1 plus 1. If I save that, I get reprompted again, and I put in 2. So we have 31. So in this case, this is what I want to point out before I move on. It's called data casting. Okay, by default, you see it tells you that that is a string. Oh yeah, sorry, it accepts a string. So upon a string, but you could pass the data and manipulate it to understand that what you wanted was actually an integer. So you wrap your variable in parentheses, and you do what they call pass int. So that's a function that lets you pass, or let's see, cast variables to a specific data type. So if I put in 2, I'm gonna have 3 rather. Refresh it. So if I put in 9 plus 1 the casted value plus 1 will be equals to 10, and then bam, we have it. Okay, oh well, okay, so it's still trying to refresh. And yes, we have 10. So moving on to the next example, that should be 3. I don't know if there's a 3. Okay, so that's 3. So we have various flavors of 3, which we are gonna touch as we progress. And this is one. Okay. So, and in the spirit of arrays, this one is a conditional statement. I don't know. That's an advanced topic. So let's just go to this. We'll start small, right? Start small. So this JS file is talking about other data types which I've covered. So like floats, which are this. Okay, so like there's big int. Alright, so you can check it out. So what I'm trying to do here is, to show you the paradigms of integers and strings and floating point numbers. So for floating point numbers are numbers with decimal places, and integers are whole numbers without decimal places, and for string you need to put them in quotes. That's double quotes, so it will treat it like a string. Alright, so if I should replace this with programming, right? Programming. Sorry, that's introduction. No wonder I didn't get syntax. Alright. So you see that I love programming. Like, so this is where I'm gonna add numbers like 1, 2, 3. Alright. So refresh that. You see that? Okay. So in this case, if I should use the plus sign and add that, I want to do that. That's what they call in programming concatenation. Basically joining two strings together. You can't join two numbers together. You join, if you want to join two numbers together, you need to know that you're trying to join a string. So that concept I've gotten. So you can just add this here, like look like a 1, 2, 3, and save that, and bam, you have a combination here for you. Now you will notice that programming and like seems kind of like family. If you don't want that, you will need to always leave a space before this, and save that. So still on the spirit of concatenation, I just want to make something classic here. So that's what they call backticks in Python. I don't know if that's a programming thing, but I just learned that when I was okay, I think that's a keyboard thing. So backticks, you just need 2 of them. Alright, just need 2 backticks, so you can actually add a variable inside of a string, but you have to put those variables in a specific fashion so that you could not have errors of any sort. Alright, so I'm just going to show that real quick, and I just say okay, so you can just say do the $sign to add a variable with curly brackets and put introduction. So what I want to say is, I love programming. I am da 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 tall, and I have da 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 experience. Okay, so this is it. So inside of the backticks, you put the $sign after that, and you continue with the statement. I love programming. I with a space. I am. So I want to say 5.7 feet tall. $sign. $sign. Put this, and I go height. Okay. So you see. I see. So and I need to put tall. let's say feet, let's say ft, feet tall, and I say width, and dollar sign with this years, years experience. Save that. And you see that show up in the console. I love programming. I am 5.7 with 2 years coding experience. So you just add that here. Coding experience. Save that and you have the BAM to your screen. Alright, so that concept is gotten on variables. Now let's move to the point 5 side of things, okay? Alright, so here we're talking about conditional statements. Basically, conditional statement, a statement used to set conditions in your code, for example. Alright, so basically conditional statements are the backbones of programming. There has to be a reason, for an action. So like when you maybe swipe your hands, alright, so just need to make this example clear. So like for example, your mobile phone, when you like swipe up, just have one. So it's like when you swap up, you're trying to send a command. So like if you swap up, unlock your screen. You do this. So I guess conditional statements are like the backbones of programming. So for 3.5, I need to stress that here. So 3.5, not 2. Save that. So let's talk about this a little bit. Alright. So conditional statement. I have a data type known as boolean here. So I am assigning that data type with this equal to, and that is the assignment operator, into this variable. I'm defining it select because I want to change it. Alright. And so just in case I get bored of programming. So years of experience is over here, and at this point you could see the syntax for how to work with conditional statements. So there are various kinds of conditional statements. We have the if conditional statement, we have the while, we have the for, we have the do while. I guess that's a JavaScript thing. Then we also have the do this one, do something. I can't really remember that. While something, do this, do while. Yes, that's the name. So basically, this is the syntax. You need to start with the keyword if we have to have a condition inside of this parenthesis. Then we need this is not an assignment. What operator is that? Basically, just have 2 equal to verify if both of this is true. So I'm just going to show that in my terminal right here. So I will fire up note, and I'll see 1 is equal to 1. So you see that we have a true. But if I say 1 is equal to 2, we have a false. Yeah, so let's move. So basically, now that we have something like that, since here is already true, whatever comes after the parenthesis needs to be in curly brackets. So I'll just go off here and explain this to you. So this is how it works, okay? So let's have something like age. Alright, so let's say for example you want to watch videos on YouTube, and you need to be above a certain age. Let's say describe to your the biodata via your year of birth, and they're trying to pass it to know how old you are. So let's say you get to see all content on YouTube if you're 18. So you see if parenthesis age is equal to 18. Alright, come on. If age, that's not Python. So if age is equal to 18, okay, let him watch. Log, let him watch. Let him watch all content. Okay, so this will just pull up. Now let him watch all content. Okay, so I need to comment all this out. Alright, so let him watch all content. So I'll just delete this out and do this inside of the JavaScript HTML file. So you can say conditional statement if we need to have a variable let is equals to what? Age. Age is equals to 18. So if age is equal to 18, log you can see all content. Okay, save that. Okay, we have some promotions here. Question for script part. So that's it right here. You can see all content. Alright. So let's say that lad is not up to 18. There's a sub condition that's else. So if the if statement fails, this fires up. So we need to have we need to have a 1 and say come back when you're older. So this will always be true so long as this condition is being met. The if statement will execute because this condition is true. Look at it. So age is equals to 18 because we have 18 assigned into age. Right? But let's say he was 17. Alright, we have this come back when you're much older. Alright, so we're gonna skip the for loop and move to the 5th example. Alright. Okay, so the 5th example has been stressed out previous demonstration in the browser. So basically you can have a variable and you put in some assignment, arithmetic assignment inside of it, and could help you out with some stuff. Okay, so just need to wipe this out. So let's see, we're gonna just do a basic calculator. Alright, so we have let is equals to no, we need to assign and to give a variable name. Let's say value 1. Okay, value 1 is equals to 1, and we have another, let's say value 2 is equals to 1. So you could just put it inside another variable as sum and equal that to variable 1. Sorry, value 1 percentage is also complete, and plus value 2. Okay, save that, and we want to log that to the user. So as a sum made up, we have our 2 there. We can decide to do 3 and save that. We have our 4 there, but I want to try something else. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make use of a prompt. so that you could see the classicness of that in action. So here is the prompt stated here, and I just want to enter first value and assign that prompt to, let's see, enter second value. I save that and put 2, press enter, comes back again, stubborn child. So I put 2 and 4 and we have 24. So I stated that the prompt function by default takes in a string. So for us to perform some arithmetic operation on those variables, we need to look for a way to get those values to appear like integers, so that we could work with them. So like I said, you could use pass int, okay, pass int, save that. Let's try this one more time. So we have 2 plus 2 is equals to 4. Okay. Alright, so the next example we're gonna try. Alright, so just proof of concept. Alright, so if I refresh the browser, I am gonna see something different with my inputs, right now. Alright, so I have something here and I just put 1.5. Sorry, that's 2.5. So 2.5 plus 2.5. I have 4. Okay, so basically what it's doing is ignoring anything that is a floating point number. Alright, but to solve that problem, I use a function known as pass float. So I'm going to delete everything, so I'm just going to do selecting, Ctrl V on the both side and do floats. So if I just do the same thing, 2.5 plus 2.5, now I have a whole number 5. Okay, how about if you input wrong values? Alright, for this coding section we're not going to cover that, but maybe you could do what they call an exception handler to check if that value is basically of specific expected data type, precisely of numbers, and mess around with it. So the 5th example is functions. Okay, that's functions. Alright, so functions are reloaded in programming. Alright, so let's say you have a lot of codes that you might be using very often. The idea of making use of programming can actually help get your codes written just once and implemented as many places as possible. So the concept of don't repeat yourself is what we're trying to preach at this point, and the power of functions could help you do that. Okay, so basically this is the syntax. You start with a keyword, and there's several types of functions as they stated in the note. My two favorites are, what function is this? yeah, I need to check that out. So this is the function keyword is what is used. You can then assign a value known as data, parentheses, then you have your brackets, and your stuff goes in here. Okay, so we're going to try to use this concept. So this is what happens. So you can just do console log, and say I have data. Save that. You don't see that coming up on the console. because we're actually logging it, but it's not showing up. Now this is what you do to get it to show up. You need to invoke it. So this is how you invoke it. Why is this not showing up? So you need the keyword data save. In parentheses, just need it. Save, and you have your classic login on the screen for you to see. Okay. Now, see, the idea of putting JavaScript files below is because we want the HTML elements to load up before it shows up to the screen. Alright, so this is it. Let's say I just want to create a function that will just sum two numbers for me. Okay. The concept of return comes in handy, so you could return 1. Alright, you see that you don't have that in the screen, but if you log that value up, log that value up and I put it in, oh shit, I will have an error. Alright, so see, that's a syntax error. Okay, so I need to make sure that it's properly in parentheses. So I'm passing in data as an argument inside of this method. I see I have that value. So what happened is that I have a return statement here and decide what value to return. I can do 3. Alright, so you see, this is really cool. Like, for example, let's say I want to always plus 3. I don't need to always do this every time. Okay, so let's say I want to always receive input and add it with 3. So instead of me to write like this everywhere, I just need to remove this. Okay. G. So that I'll see I have 4 6. Scary, right? Okay, so I have 4 6 over here. Alright, well, let me just make this quite unique, and I receive a value from the console. Let's see, value is equal to prompts. Let's see, let me just pass. Let me just do it as a. So I'm gonna do things differently here. Now I'm just gonna put the prompt as an argument here, and say enter value. Okay, save that. See, cancel that. So let's see, I always want to add a value with 3. I say do select everything, delete that, and put value. Now if I run this application, which will be by saving, so just for 6. Sorry about that. I have 9 everywhere. Okay, so what if I just don't want to have this 3 everywhere? Okay, so I would just need to put it in a function. That's the idea. So I don't need to repeat myself every time I write 3. So I just need to just get it from wherever I placed it. I do use it. Okay. So highlight this, do D, and close this, and add the data function. And so put that data function. Save it. Run that. So if I put 6 here. I put 6, so see, I have my same value. So the idea of functions is for you not to repeat yourself. Okay, so you decide to pass parameters inside of your function. Okay, so I say I want to do this in a classic way now. Okay, so this is it. I want to pass in a value inside and plus that value with 3. Okay, so I just call this val. Okay, classic naming convention right here. Like if you're seeing one. Alright, so I have nothing here, but if I decide to print this out and have another print log and have data. Okay, so we have data, and in brackets I do this. Save and refresh. See, I'm gonna have the same thing pretty much. Okay, so that's it. So if you want to like do something, you don't want to repeat yourself, the concept of function could be accepted. And I think we move on to the last, I think semi-last part of the semi-last part of what's it called, JavaScript. Then we'll move to DOM. Spend like 10 minutes on that because we're gonna be doing the concept of that tomorrow while we make use of Django and JavaScript as the case may be. So this is what you are going to do when you want to make use of a class. So the concept of class is almost like that of function. Instead of having to like write a whole lot of codes and have the inability to just make an instance of it, just rewriting it everywhere, the concept of class comes into play. In fact, precisely the concept of object-oriented programming. But we're just going to focus on class, and then we'll kickstart to something. So for you to create a class, you need a keyword class. So I'm just going to use my examples I use with my students the other day. Okay, so you need to follow these principles. You need to have the keyword class, you need to have the name of your class. Then you can have functions as the case maybe. So different functions, we have name parameters. Just call these what do I call it? So that's the F1. Okay, so I don't need the keyword functions over here because this is a class. So I could just do like log and print I love programming. Okay, save that. Nothing pops up. Okay, what if I do player dot F1? Okay, my bracket, save. Oh my god, it's not a function. I save, still not a function. Okay, so let me just quick okay, alright. Okay, so F1 is not a function. Players, so basically I may have missed something. So F1, okay, same thing I did. F1 is not a function. Is it? Am I calling it wrongly? Okay. 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 Yeah, this is a method. Alright. Player. Okay, so alright. So let's focus on constructors for now. Alright. So basically, if you want to make use of variables initiated real time while you, okay, let me try something. let me try to create say player player. Let me do this. Okay, so new player. I guess that keyword is pretty much important. Undo player dot f1. I just hope this doesn't crash on me. Okay, so I think you need to so for a high level language like JavaScript, you need to create an object out of your class. So this is the syntax to do that. So this is player, which is definitely this keyword here. I just change the style of football. So it will bring home the concept I'm trying to bring here. So basically, this is use the keyword new, then followed by the player class. So you assign that to a variable of your choice, name whatever you want. So it has to make sense. I always start my classes with capital letter, so that's a concept in JavaScript precisely. So you could apply that. So variables are in small letter, but in this case, this is not a variable. This here is regarded as an object. So console is an object. Yeah, so they have several types of objects. So this is the point I'm trying to make it. Alright, so dot f1. So you could just show whatever is here. So let's talk about constructors. Constructors I just now what's the best explanation for constructors? So like it's a stock as a stock function that is initialized whenever you create an object. So you could pass in variables and assign variables, and those variables could be accessed all through other functions within the class. So I think you have to go with the keyword this. I don't know. So I just check it out. Okay, so you don't. So the Python, you need something like self here. You just need to assign the variable. So for this player class, we're just going to be talking about names of the players. We're talking about height of the players. We're talking about JC God. Let's say JC Jesse. Someone help me out. JC. I should check that out somewhere. Alright. So do wing number. Right. So that's like number. So snake case. Wing number and the next should be so that's pretty much it. Let's see club. So I have errors. That's fine. Save. Alright, we're clear now. So let me just delete this. I better still comment it out. So to make a comment, you need 2 forward slashes in front of that statement, and it's gonna be silent comment. Alright, so wing number, so we just use the keyword this, and we're trying to grab whatever input is coming in here, so we just need to use there's no harm using the exact names. If you want to get into the core concept of object-oriented programming, I recommend you give them pseudonyms. But it's going to be confusing in times of debugging, so it's ideal you give them the exact name. Okay, so you go height. Oops, I need to make sure they're both the same. Say height come down to the next one and do wing number, come down to the next one and do club, and da da da. So for F1, I'm not going to be playing with F1 anymore. Okay, so removing that one, and I will save it. Okay, so by default, no, we don't have anything up and running here. If I do log, I want to see something. I do player, player dot name, save that. See, it is undefined, so we want to define the names, and the height and the wing number. Okay, so you have to pass it inside of the plane. Okay, so that bracket is this one right here, so this is it. So let's see, name John Doe, obviously he's now a footballer. John Doe, his height is 6 feet tall, and we have wing number to be 5. We have the club to be PC United. Save that. So now for that function that was undefined, we now have an attribute here. So if I should change this value to, let's say, height, save, I get 6 here. If I should also change that value to wing number, save it, 5, do club, save it, we have PC United. Okay, so we can also add functions to this. So I'm just gonna add an intro function. Okay, intro. Alright, so basically a function that introduces oneself. So I just return this, and not so backticks because I want to. So because I want to input variables inside of it. So I do this. See, my name is, I want to insert this. My name is John Doe. I am da 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 da. So I'm just gonna do for the both of them. My name is John Doe. I play for that. My name is $. We do sorry, this dot name. So since we are within the class, we have to use this word to refer to variables that have been modified, or variables modified in the constructor of variables that are global. So we use this, and we use name. My name is John Doe, and I play for my $, for club. Alright, save that. We don't have that, so anyway, so we just need to change this to intro, and you see we have something being pointed there to the object of the function. That's what. So let us put parentheses, so I could treat it like an actual function, which is a method actually, because it's inside of a class. And we have funny looking things right here. Okay, so you can see now club is not defined, so this needs to be in this keyword, and see, formatted text. Alright, so let's quickly talk about the DOM element and give this a wrap. Okay, so basically document object notation is like an API for manipulating your HTML files. So as a tree stack, maybe I'll make a presentation on that tomorrow, but this is the hard and fast way. Alright, so let's say you have something like just do my app, so you just do h1 tags. So that is the biggest tags, my app, save, and we have that. I'll put in just the text. Okay, so I'm just going to use the hard and fast way, the query selector method in the document object. Select query. Okay, so this function takes in an argument as a string, so I need to put my quotes, and I want to modify h1, so it's as simple as that. So put in h1, save. We have nothing exactly, but if I want to see what's inside, I do h1. So I can't see it because I am not outputting it in any form. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a classic API for browsers that lets you show something in the screen. So I'm just going to need to assign all of this beauty inside of a variable. Alright, so I'm going to use constant because it's not going to change. So tag test. I should call this tag test. Equal that. Equal that. Save. I need to use the API a lot. Close that and put in tag test inside. Save. And we see my app shows up. I'll okay that. Instead of writing my app, I say our app. Save that and see it pops up. So let's say you want to change what is inside. You need to change the element inside of it. You can actually use this function in conjunction with the inner HTML, but then you need to use the assignment operators and do my app. Fingers crossed, this should work. Okay. So if I refresh this, you see my app shows up. Okay, so due to the speed of JavaScript, you will see the change. But I'm going to try a function. This is set interval. So I'm basically just going to slow the browser down a little. I say undefined. I just hope this works. Undefined and do 4 seconds. I see 10 100 see. So that's the craziest thing I've seen. So like, even though that is still hard to execute that. But what I'm saying is that maybe with Python would have had the variety to make that work. But see, we changed it. It's supposed to be our app, but via the inner HTML, we're able to make that modification and change things up. So let's say you want to have like 2 of this. You see, it didn't work on the second one. It's because it is as attacking just the query selector. There is an option known as all. I haven't really tried that out. So basically, I think you need to have a conditional statement to script to all the tags, then from there make the modification. That is quite advanced. I never want to touch for loop in any way, but basically that is how we roll it. So we're back to where we were. So if you want to if you have like like 3 of this, and you want, if I do this save, you see, it's just gonna affect all of them. But if I want to affect this entire stuff and change it and manipulate it to what I want it to be, I could, instead of attacking the h1 tag, I can attack the body tag. I have that example in the files stated. So I just do body, and bam, we change everything. But you notice the size is small. I can also pass in specific tags, like a string inside, assigning it to this HTML. So I need to do h1, close it, come to the end, and / h1, shut it down. Boom, we have that. Okay, so that's it. So what other things I want to touch on is the concept of division. Okay, so before we talk about division, I want to show you something. Alright, so that thing when you see when you try to, like, access a browser, so you fill a form and you have like a text box where you could like see the password, and the password could be hidden and show up. So basically with the select query, or you could actually attack a specific tag and make things see what's inside. So save that. Actually, I'm gonna have an error as that didn't exist. Actually, it's trying to create it. Let's start all over again. Save this. Now we have a text box. Now this is a password text box. Okay, password text box. Now for you to manipulate this, you could do this. Do select document. Select query, and inside of this I want to specify the input text box. Then I could do attribute. Could ask again a set, so I could do set attribute. Alright. Okay, so to make this concept make more sense, I'm just gonna put a default value inside and say 1 to there. So basically you're not gonna see these values, but it is, okay, we don't. So basically I do say attributes. And I pass in 2 arguments. Okay, so you need 2 arguments in here. So you go type is equals to text. Fingers crossed this should work. Bam. So you see, so that could show you, like, okay, this is it. So how about if you want to tie this to a button? It's very easy. Button. So you say just show password. See, so we have our cube button here, but it doesn't do anything at the moment. Alright, so basically what I want to do is that I have to target the, I just copy that, paste that, and target the button. Okay, so instead of having the set attribute in the button, I want to have what they call a function known as, I think that's a method known as event listener. Alright, So this is how it works. Event, add event listener in brackets. So the event listener takes in an argument and a function. So I am going to pass it thus. So I have to do clicked. The first argument is in string. So to click, bracket close. So I'm just going to do function inside here, and okay. So I'm just going to try a function that I didn't really show in my example. Yes, the arrow function. I think I stated that in the example file. Okay, that was very weird. Okay, so you have, so I need more space here. So you need parentheses, parentheses equal to, then you have this. So I guess you can also use the keyword function, then have the brackets. So that works too. So basically the function does not have a name, so you just pass it this way. I think might be the concept of anonymous function. So alright, so this is what you do. So let's try login. Hello. Alright, save. Now it shows it, but when I click this button I get hello. Okay, so what I want is that whenever I click this button, alright, I want this this to change. So if I comment this out, so now you have it back restored to password. So whenever I click this button, this function executes, and this set out changes the type, which is here, to text. If I just come here and edit this to text and save it, I have my validation up. So what I want is that I want it to toggle between text, and stuff like that. So do it this way, take this out and do this, save. So now it's in password, but when I click this, it's now in text. Now the problem is that when I click show password, it kind of like doesn't return me back. So what I want to do is that when I click it, I want this to change to hide password. Alright, so basically what we can do to achieve that is to make use of our data type known as boolean. Alright, so we need to know when it's clicked so that we could set it to true. When it's not clicked, we'll set it to false. So this is a let button click btn clicked, set it to, initially it is false, so leave it at false. So I could do if btn is equal to true, common. So if btn is equal to true, let me just put that on full screen. I'm sure that's later. So if btn is clicked, what we want is that this has to be in text. Okay, alright, so when it is not clicked, or when it is false, let it come back to also let it come back to password, save. Now we have a challenge with this code. Okay, so whenever we have this value clicked, we need to set it to the inverted um, assign type. Okay, so like if this is false and it's clicked, we need it to be true, and vice versa. Alright, so see, copy this here, paste this here, take out the definition and make this true. See, and come on, save this here. So by default is false if it's clicked, true, and other. Alright, so let's try this now. So we do show password, show password, show password. Okay, so I forgot to make that equal between it. And so if it's true, do this. Alright, so when I click it, nothing happens. Oh boy. Okay. Alright, so I'll see what I've done. Alright, so let's check this out to know what. This is the weirdest I've seen. Alright, so let's yeah. Okay, so let's try itinerary operation. Alright, so that is an advanced concept for checking out data types, variables as the case may be, or some checking out data types, and if you meet a certain condition, specific taxes is taken into consideration. So how do we do that? That's colon, is it colon or equal? Yeah, so if is equals to 2, and do this here. Okay, is it colon here equal to okay, missing the whole concept, so let me just revert back to what I was doing and debug. Okay, so I comment this out and this save. If I click the button, let's log something. With this, okay. Okay, so we have that working. So I just want to check. So let's check it. So if I click it, I have false. Okay. So I have false and it's taking me back to false. I guess so I should have swapped it. Okay. Alright, so comment this out. Take this, bring this down. Wasn't thinking that through anyway. Save that. So if I click, I have my valuation done. If I click, it takes me back. But for user experience, I need this to change to hide password, show password. So I guess I just have to copy this, see this, and I take it button. So instead of having the set attribute, I could do inner by HTML. So if we have this changing to password, then I need to tell them hide it, hide password. And then as you see, show password. So okay. Sorry, I need to invert that. Yeah, save that. Alright, so if I click this, I have hide password. I click this, I have show password. So basically we have covered a lot in the stream. So if there are any questions, please do let me know. We would talk more about them in the WhatsApp chat room. Any questions, any observation, will be really welcomed. So please do let me know. Whatever challenge you have, I will try my best to be of help to you, so that you could get the best out of your programming skill. Code like never before. Alright, so let me know, and I'll see to it that the best of resources is provided for you. Basically, we just scratched the surface. We didn't go into any advanced topic here, because most of the interested programmers in my list to be are very, very, very busy. So we don't want to throw concept I'll say here. So let me know if there's anything that you need to know, and I will provide those resources for you as we progress. So that should be all for now. See you